Oh man, tool just came on. Anyways, back in the garage, doing some big block stuff. Got my 440 here. I don't know if you guys remember it. I had some videos about it a few months ago, probably about 4 months ago now. And then I got delayed because I took on a project for my son, so that way he would have a driver. Okay, so what am I doing? Well, let me switch the camera around. All right, where I left off, I was setting up the rocker arms, getting this, getting the shimming in between the rockers and the hold downs correct, and I was having to grind these hold downs to get that proper measurement I think you want. I think it said 15 thou between each rocker, so about 30 thou in between each, 30 thou in between each hold down, whatever. You'll see I have some hardware store checking springs. Not really. I just went down to the hardware store. I bought something that kind of mimicked what the size of the checking springs are, and you can see there's more coils in it than what a checking spring would have, but it does the job. So with this, I was able to check piston to valve clearance and also push rod length and sweep pattern. So you'll see that I got a nice sweep pattern there, and I won't have to shim this rocker shaft, which I'm very thankful for. Push rod length. So you'll see I got a board now, and these are my measurements that I was taking with my push rod checker. So as it says, those are the maximum length and minimum length push rods, and also they recommend that you go with 210 degree valve tips. So this is what I decided to go with. Actually, it's probably more like 8.5 is really more or less the max. I can go back into my calculator history and tell you for sure, but it's more than 8.4. But the issue is you got this adjuster here, and see that they don't want this sticking out past 2 threads, and so basically from the seated position all the way to the 2 thread mark, I counted how many turns it would make before there's 2 threads showing from the seated position, and that's like 3 turns, so it's not a lot. So with this seated, like this one here, you got the 8.4 3 or 8.44, whatever it came out to be, or at this here where there's 1 thread showing, and that's 8.375, basically 8 3/8. Also, I should also add into the mix that once you have 0 lash, so basically when there's 0 lash on this rocker, they want you to go 1 full turn for preload on your hydraulic lifters, which this is a hydraulic roller. So having this right here, this is where I got, with 1 thread showing, this is where I've gotten my 8.375 measurement. Now I'd have to go a complete full turn, which then would give me 2 threads. So I'd be at the maximum amount of adjustment with the shorter push rod. And I don't know I kind of like having a little bit of adjustment. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with the 8.4. Leave a comment, if you agree or disagree with me on that. But I think that's the way I'm going to go. Um, yeah, not much more to report on the engine other than the paint job sucked. It didn't come out very well. I think I might have mentioned that before. The valley pan, I've got it off and upside down right now, but paint's chipping off of that pretty good. Paint's chipping off the heads and off of here. So I'm not very happy with the paint job. Can't really say it's Duplicolor's fault because we all know that paint prep makes all the difference. And I might not have gotten all of the contaminants off the surface before I painted it. Now, I did use some brake clean, I believe, but obviously that isn't good enough. And also, full disclosure, I wanted it done. I was trying to get it done. I was trying to keep pumping videos out, and I wasn't willing to take the necessary extra steps, like as in painting the block separate, painting the head separate, painting the valve cover separate, all that sort of stuff that really makes a better finished product. Now, hindsight being 2020, that's probably the route I should have taken. It's probably the route I'll take in the future. Actually, I probably won't even use Duplicolor anymore. I'll probably use something that's a little more durable. But I will say that the areas that it stuck, that adhered to the material, really looks nice. I don't have any really, any runs or sags or anything like that. Like it does. It is a pretty color. Kind of looks a little more green in the video than it is. Trust me, there's no green to it. It's like a baby blue almost. And you can argue whether that's factory or not. I don't know. I don't really care. I am going to push out or tap out the core plugs. I got some brass core plugs to put in. I am going to change the valley pan anyways, so I'm not that heartbroken over it. Well, I've got two options. I can either find some sort of a filler plate to put in there to seal off the exhaust crossover, or I've actually got a valley pan that covers that up already. It's like a Felpro part number. I might have put it in one of the older videos. It's going to get used regardless whether I use it on this engine or I use it on the Coronet, but I don't have two of them, so we'll see where I go with that. But yeah, it's getting close. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Just I was getting in the home stretch when I went out and totally switched gears and went into the 318 build. But yeah, hopefully I'll have this finished and ready to go in the car within the next month, maybe. I'm going to be starting a new job here in a couple days, so we'll see what my schedule will be like there. So I may or may not have that much time to devote to it, like I did the 318, which it seemed like it took a long time, but I was actually putting a lot of time into it. So yeah, once the engine's done, I've got the suspension I got the suspension and everything put together. Just needs a couple pieces here and there. I got it on my little homemade stand. It's kind of like a US car tool knockoff. Yeah, the bucket is not part of the build. Anyways, I gotta mount it onto that, and then this transmission here, I believe it's a 69, so it's the older transmission. I guess the real sought after ones are the 71s and up, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, this is what I got, and this is what I'm going to use. It leaked pretty bad before, so I think minimum I'm going to replace the seals, you know, like the tail shaft seal, torque converter seal, or front pump seal, whatever you want to call it, dipsticks tube seal, and then the shifter shaft seal, and the whatever you want to call it, the yeah, kick down throttle, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, whatever, the seals. So to do that, I'm kind of debating on whether I should try to rebuild the transmission, because it's kind of an unknown transmission. I do know that it has forward and reverse, because there's an ancient video, one back in 2012, where I actually got this thing running with that old crappy motor. I mean, I never ran it for very long, so I didn't know that it had a crack block, but it ran with a crack block. Thank God that I didn't try to drive it with a crack block, you know what I mean? But, and that's how I know the transmission was pretty bad, because it just left a red blood puddle underneath of it. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm running out of things to say. I'm excited. I want to get this car on the road this year. I say it every year, but this is the year. All right, catch you later. Mopar.